Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily. It's Friday, September 16th, here with Simon Board. I'm Nick Fershaw. Simon, let's take a look at some of the biggest games this weekend in MLS, starting with a good one on Friday night on Fox Soccer. The Portland Timbers at home against the New England Revolution, 11 p.m. Eastern. And the news for this one, Ryan Cochran of the New England Revolution and a Portland native saying that without a doubt, Portland, the best market in MLS, those fans are going to get a chance to shine on the national TV spotlight again.
We'll see if Portland can reward those fans with a playoff berth. John Spencer, the manager, saying they need 10 points to secure a spot in the postseason. It starts tonight, one of 3 home games they have remaining. We know how important home games are for Portland. They need to take advantage. But New England, no pushovers. They've had a series of good results. They're coming off a 2-0 win over Dallas.
And if you're following along on TV, you can also log in for a live chat here on MLSsoccer.com. It starts at 11 p.m. Eastern. Let's move on to Saturday's games. A big one, East-West matchup, FC Dallas at home against the New York Red Bulls. That one's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Match Day Live. We know the Red Bulls, Hans Backe is saying they need 3 wins to get into the postseason. Are they going to get one against FC Dallas?
This is where the drama continues this weekend. New York with a very tough assignment. They need 3 points, but their lineup is a mess. They have 2 fullbacks out, and now they're talking about Tim Ream being questionable for this game. So a lot of drama, but New York have to get the win in Dallas.
And for FC Dallas, they're going to miss Brek Shea and Marvin Chavez, so see what Schellas Hyman can do with that group. He's done so well mixing and matching all season long. Big game out in the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia at home against the Columbus Crew, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night on Match Day Live. 2 teams that have struggled lately. The Union winless in their last 8 in league play, and the Columbus Crew coming off 2 big-time losses. Who has the edge in this one?
Well, you got to take Philadelphia being at home. Philadelphia's manager, Peter Novak, saying all they need is a win to really get going. They have a mental block right now, but this could be a huge swing in either way for Philadelphia. A win, they're shooting for the East title. A loss, and they're really in that muck of teams battling for wild card.
A big one out on the West Coast, the Seattle Sounders at home against DC United, 9 p.m. Eastern on Match Day Live. The Sounders have played so well lately up until that loss against RSL last week. And DC United, they've been on the West Coast all week after that big win over Chivas USA. What happens up at CenturyLink Field?
It's going to be interesting to see DC coming off a 3-0 win at Chivas. They're one of the better road teams in MLS. Their point total 3rd best in the league. Can they do it again? Their counterattacking style in Seattle, and will Seattle have a letdown after that Champions League victory?
One last game we want to take a look at, and it's a good one. Real Salt Lake at home against Sporting Kansas City, 9 p.m. Eastern on Match Day Live. We know all about RSL. They seem to have their swagger back. Their defense is in form, but they're going to face an SKC team that is perhaps maybe the best offense in the league, who has the edge at Rio Tinto.
Nick, everyone focusing on the battle between the Sporting attack versus the Real Salt Lake defense, but everyone overlooking the fact that Salt Lake's attack, not too shabby. You have Luis Gil in that attacking midfield role coming into his own, and Fabian Espindola has been in great form of late, so I think keep an eye on those 2. They could decide this game.
I have to say that both of these teams made some last-minute roster additions on Thursday. The roster deadline freeze fell down on the league on Thursday, and the biggest trade, a quiet day, but the biggest trade certainly, Dason Robinson going from Toronto FC out to the LA Galaxy for Kyle Davies. Robinson reunited with Dave Sarachan out there in LA from their old Chicago Fire days. But just a couple other pickups around the league in Orlando City. Some good talent coming up from the minors.
Nick, Orlando City, the champs of the USLC. 3 of their players joined the MLS ranks, 2 on loan. I think the bigger name here, Max Griffin joining the San Jose Earthquakes. They need the forward help, assistance for Chris Wondolowski up top.
Well, for a list of all the roster freeze deadline pickups, you can log on to MLSsoccer.com, and you can also find the 24 under 24 series, which rolls on exclusively here on the site. Simon, we're going to see numbers 6 through 9 on Friday. Well, what was the biggest name from Thursday? We got a lot of fan feedback. Who was the biggest surprise?
I would say the biggest surprise was Camilo Samvezzo of the Vancouver Whitecaps. Quietly, he's put together a really impressive season, wowed fans with his creativity, some spectacular goals along the way, but he really ranked higher than many, I think, expected.
And we also want to mention the latest edition of Extra Time Radio is up. That came on Thursday. We spoke to Charlie Davies of DC United. Charlie's always great, very candid. Spoke about DC United and Sochaux and how he visited a sports psychologist to sort of get out of his funk this summer. You can find that on iTunes and Buzzsprout. And for all the latest headlines in MLS, log on to MLSsoccer.com.